We're just saying to ourselves, the guy broke that guitar. Oh my gosh. we have another cup going here on the Morning Brew. Welcome back to the show. I'm Larry Aarons with our co-host Aaron Muffaletto. We love Albuquerque, the magazine, here on the Morning Brew, and we have the editor-in-chief here with us today, our friend Lexi Petronis. Hi, Lexi.
Hi, how are you?
We're
Great.
fine. How are you?
It's good. It's good to be here. Thank you.
Wonderful to see you.
Yeah.
Congrats on 100 issues.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a feat. It was a feat, but it was a fun feat. We have a good time doing it. So.
Yeah. Well, before we jump into the magazine, tell us a little bit about you. You've took some time off to write a children's book, and you've also been a columnist for other magazines as well.
Yeah. I started with the magazine in 2005, and I was there for about 5 years, and then I had my second baby, and so I decided to take a little time off. And so I did. I wrote a book about the environment for teens, and then I'm also a blogger for Glamour, and so I write about health and fitness there as well.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and then I got to come back, and so I was really happy.
We're excited to have you.
Yeah, it worked out.
Tell us about the milestone. What you did in the magazine is list the 100 things you love about Albuquerque, and I thought that's a great idea.
Yeah.
What was that decision-making process like?
Well, it was great because we got our whole staff together. We all sort of brainstormed. We all have our own favorites, obviously,
sure.
Things that just, that say Albuquerque to us. And then, there was some debating, of course, as need be. But eventually we had 100 things that we just thought, we absolutely just love about Albuquerque. And the only problem is that we love so many things. We can't wait for the 200th issue because then we can put a lot more in. So we're excited about that.
That'll be fun. So how long has Albuquerque Magazine been around?
Well, it started in 2004. And it actually, it was just the brainchild of our publisher, Laurel Lynch, who he has a journalism background, and he came back to Albuquerque, and he said, he was looking around and tried to see if there was a city lifestyle magazine, because he had been in Sacramento, where there's a very thriving magazine, and there wasn't. Yeah. So he decided to start one, and what happened is he started it right out of his house, and it graduated to an office, and then a bigger office, and then a bigger office, and then it's just sort of taken off.
Yeah, and I've heard Laurel speak, and he's just so passionate about Albuquerque. So it's great that he put this idea together.
Oh, it's great. It's a really fun place to be, and it's very positive. I think we've been, embraced by the community, and I sort of think that in this issue, of course, it's 100 things that we love, but I think every issue in some way, it's a love letter to the city, because there's just so much that we like about it.
We kind of model this show after what you do there, because we think there's so much to promote here and so much positive stuff happening. And the media is not always good in this town about portraying the community in the way it really should be portrayed.
Right.
So that's our mission here.
Right. There you go.
And you carry on over there. We got a couple of photos to put up of the 100, and the number one is the balloon fiesta, of course.
That's definitely one. Yeah, that says Albuquerque. There's so many things that just say Albuquerque, and a lot of these things are that same way.
This is from the actual edition here. And number one is the balloon fiesta.
There's the layout, yeah.
Interesting, the freeway pottery is number 2. I could tell that's been debated in the office.
Right. We tried to mix it up a little bit, So there are things that are, when you go to it, you'll read and you'll be like, of course, green chili. Obviously, the smell of green chili. How could that not be something you love about Albuquerque? And then there might be some other things that you're like, oh, okay. For example, number 25, the Lobos versus the Aggies. Yeah. We love that rivalry. We just think it's really, it's got spirit.
Yeah.
And
see, there it is. Lobos versus Aggies.
Yeah.
Yeah. New Mexican food. All these things are very iconic, we think, in Albuquerque.
So how has the magazine really evolved since its roots, since Laurel first thought it as a brainchild out of his house, and what has evolved since then?
Well, certainly it's gotten bigger. It used to be, this 86-page magazine, and now, we're sort of around 300, 330 every issue. But I think, if anything, we've just explored more. I think, in a way, it sort of reflects the city itself, because I think the city is growing so much, and it's really become cosmopolitan in so many ways. With the film industry here, there's a lot of people moving from other places, and so I think that just sort of is like, we're a mirror to that. Yeah. So we start getting a little bit bigger, and we are talking about more people, and we try to get a very broad range because we think there's a lot of variety here. And so that's what I've seen evolve.
Okay, so the issue of this was a very clever idea, I think. The Real Housewives of Albuquerque.
Yes.
And we have a photo of the ladies here. I know a couple of these ladies,
too.
Yes,
and
yes.
they fit the category perfectly.
Yeah.
Did these women volunteer to be in this, or did you go out and find them?
We actually went out to find them. So we did a little bit of casting.
Good.
Yes, we researched every nook and cranny of the Albuquerque scene. We were obviously inspired by the TV series.
Sure.
But as we sort of narrowed in on these women, what was really interesting to us is that instead of being catfighty and backstabby, these women were very lovely. They're very lovely and they're very community oriented and they're
Did they all know
funny.
each other?
They knew of each other.
Oh, I see.
Sometimes they knew each other, but they sort of knew of each other too. So they were all aware.
Ah.
But it was neat because we got them all in the same room, gave them some cocktails and some crudité. and-
Just like the TV show.
Exactly, and so it was really cool to watch them interact, and they just really bounced off each other. They were hilarious. I mean, they're just really funny women.
And that's one of
They
the
should
great
be their own show. They should.
One of the things I love so much about the magazine is that I can look through it and see people I know. So it's not like People magazine or something. It's my local magazine. And it's like local celebrities almost like, oh, well, she's doing this? Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. And kind of raise some interest in things going on around the community. And
Yes.
I love that you guys
I think
showcase
that's
that.
true. Oh, yes,
So-
absolutely. We really want you to be able to pick it up and say, oh, that's my neighbor Joe. I didn't know he did that, and
Right.
show this other side because everybody here, there are just so many people doing great things and, things to really further the city or just interesting things in general. So.
Now, your colleagues say that you're just an amazing editor. Take us into that
pay-
editor mindset.
Oh, well, I pay them well, apparently, because if they're saying that, that's great. But
What do you do as you look at the material that you have to put in the magazine? How are you deciding? Take us through that process.
Well, it's not really sometimes anything you actually think about. I've always found that if I'm like, okay, I have to sit down and come up with an idea, I will not come up with an idea. There's no way.
Yeah.
So it's usually when you're walking down the street, going down the Bosque and you're saying, oh, I wonder how long is this trail? Or, that's what starts breeding ideas. And so, I mean, luckily everybody else on staff, they are all, wonderful brains too. So everybody comes to the table with really, really smart ideas and everybody has different experiences. So they can come in and, bring different things. So it's just sort of like being a sieve and sort of like distilling it out,
And you always have these big parties that I think are so cool.
They're legendary.
They're legendary. Yeah, I know. I feel like I'm part of some VIP status when I get invited to one. So can you kind of tell us a little bit about one of those parties?
Sure. Well, I think probably our biggest is our Best of the City party.
Oh, yes.
Which, at the end of every year, we showcase, well, basically what happens is we ask the city to tell us their favorite things in the city.
Mm-hmm.
And actually our ballot is going to be going up online at the next week on April
okay.
30th.
Oh, yeah.
So, start getting your
Get
fingers
on
ready to
there.
vote. And so we let them vote over the course of 3 months. And then we count the votes, we get them all together, and we bring all the winners together under one roof, and they get the chance. It's sort of like a 3D, a way of making the magazine 3D. So you can actually taste the sopapilla that won.
Right.
You could actually listen to the best band. So it's a really big fun party, and we always look forward to it. And it's also, as I said, it's so fun because it's what everybody else thinks is great.
I always leave with bag full of stuff. And
Yes.
There's lots of treats,
Yeah.
lots of treats and samples.
Okay,
Yes.
I gotta ask, if you look critically at the magazine, there's no number 14. What happened to number 14?
Right. Number 14, well, occasionally we have some production issues, but
Was there a 14?
there was a 14 at one point, and
Uh-huh.
now what we've decided to make number 14, and it's been really cool actually, is we ask people, what's your number 14?
Ah.
So what's the thing you love about the city? And people have been great about emailing in and saying, my number 14 is, I love.
Oh, that's great.
Yes. So it's a nice way for people to actually say what they love about the city too.
Well, it's a
We have
creative
nothing
way.
against number 14.
No.
We love 14.
I was going to say, if you're going to eliminate one, it would be 13. It'd be superstitious, but it's 14.
14.
That's okay. It's
It's
still a
good
great
eye.
list.
It's a
It
good
doesn't
item.
matter.
Yes, thank you.
All right, next issue is what?
Oh, our next issue is our May food and wine issue. So it's really
Ooh, yeah.
just filled with food and drink and all sorts of, I mean, you're definitely going to have your mouth watering, I promise.
Awesome. And so people who are not subscribers, how do they become subscribers?
All you need to do is go to abqthemag.com and you can easily get a subscription there. We also have a list of where the magazine is available by parts of the city. So if you just want to pick up an issue, you can do that as well.
It's really wonderful to see you again, Lexi.
Thank you.
look
It's good to see
terrific,
you.
and,
Oh, thank
and
you.
come back anytime.
I'd be
Always
happy
fun
to.
have you guys at ATM on the show.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been
And
a treat.
congratulations on number 100.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so
Well,
much.
there she is, Lexi Petronis. Lexi is the editor-in-chief of Albuquerque, the magazine. We'll be back in a moment. Legendary photographer Kim Ju will be in that seat in just a moment when we continue here on The Morning Brew. For Aaron Muffaletto, I'm Larry Aarons. We'll be right back.